Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be an icon, a legend, and have people forget who you truly were as a person? Imagine being alive longer than you've been dead, yet being remembered more for your flaws than for the impact you had on the world. This is the story of Elvis Presley, a man whose legacy has been distorted and reduced to a shadow of his true self. In the years following his death on August 16, 1977, Elvis' image has been twisted and transformed into something almost unrecognizable. While he was alive, he was a force of nature, a cultural phenomenon that shook the foundations of music and challenged societal norms. But somehow, over time, his memory has been overshadowed by myths and legends, and his humanity has been lost. You might think history is set in stone, especially since it occurred in the past. But the truth is, history is a story, a tale told and retold, and with each telling it can change and evolve. As we move forward, we often look back and judge the past through our modern eyes, forgetting that people then, just like now, were flawed and complex. It's easy to forget the human element when discussing historical figures, especially when we focus too much on their faults. Take, for example, George Washington, the first president of the United States. He could have easily declared himself king, but instead he chose to set a democratic example by limiting his time in power. This act of restraint and humility is often overlooked in favor of focusing on the fact that he owned slaves, a practice that was sadly common during that time but is unacceptable by modern standards. Thomas Jefferson, the primary author of the Declaration of Independence, was a brilliant man who could read and understand 6 languages. He had an insatiable curiosity and was an inventor, philosopher, and scientist in his own right. However, he too has not been spared criticism for his actions, specifically his relationship with Sally Hemings, an enslaved woman. Martin Luther King Jr., a powerful speaker and leader of the civil rights movement, is often remembered for his inspiring speeches, but people also bring up his affairs, which distract from his incredible contributions to fighting for equality. Henry Ford, the man behind the assembly line, revolutionized the automobile industry, making cars affordable and accessible to the average person. Yet, discussions about his possible anti-Semitic views overshadow his impact on modern life. These men, just like Elvis, were products of their time and had their own set of challenges and flaws. But their contributions and the impact they had on the world cannot be ignored or diminished. Without these individuals, the world would be a vastly different place. Without Elvis, music and popular culture as we know it today might not exist. He took elements of country and rhythm and blues, fusing them together to create a new sound that appealed to people of all backgrounds. His music brought people together and gave a voice to a generation. As John Lennon once said, before Elvis, there was nothing. His influence was so profound that it is hard to overstate it. Elvis' impact went beyond music. He represented a cultural shift, a breaking down of barriers, and a challenge to the status quo. His unique style and personality captivated audiences and inspired countless others to pursue their dreams. His impact was so great that it is easy to forget that he was just a regular guy from a small town in Mississippi. Today, many people, especially the younger generations, have a distorted view of Elvis. While they might recognize his iconic image, they often don't know his music or understand the context in which he lived and performed. They see him as a figure of parody, a man copied by thousands of impersonators, which only serves to further remove the real Elvis from the public consciousness. It's time to reclaim Elvis' legacy and celebrate his true impact on the world. We should remember him for his incredible talent, his innovation, and his ability to connect with people on a deeply personal level. Let's not forget the real Elvis, the man who sang from his heart and changed the course of music forever. Elvis Presley's story is a reminder that historical figures, no matter how iconic, were human first and foremost. They had their flaws, but they also had incredible strengths and made extraordinary contributions. It's up to us to remember them for who they were and what they accomplished, rather than focusing solely on their faults. So the next time you hear Elvis' voice or see his image, take a moment to appreciate the real man behind the legend. He was a trailblazer, a pioneer, and a true original, and his legacy deserves to be remembered and celebrated for generations to come.